everyone, welcome to my show. Be sure to hit like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch for all my exclusive content. Hello again, Fleet Commanders. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day out there. We're going to do the next installment of my tutorial series. This is a big one, moving from Ops 39 to 40. I'm sure you've seen plenty of videos out there over the years that have recommended and suggested camping at 39 for a while. Still fairly good advice. You don't want to spend as long as a lot of people have previously recommended. Some people say, oh, stay there for 6 months, stay there for a year, camp, stock up on everything, get everything done. I don't think you need to wait that long. Probably do need to wait, at least a couple months. Again, there are some things, research efficiencies you want to get caught up on. There's all kinds of new buildings and stuff. The other one, you want to try and get some of these guys caught up a little bit, because when you want to upgrade further, you're going to need these. And you don't want to be stuck sitting there trying to do, 7 or 8 levels. Well, we might have a little bit to do here still. But 7 or 8 levels of this stuff to try and get yourself prepared to go to 41, which is really the ultimate goal. You don't really want to spend a lot of time sitting at 40. You kind of want to move through it as quickly as possible, because lots of interesting things happen when you go from 39 to 40, but the daily, day-to-day benefits of being at 40 aren't really all that special. You want to get to 41, because that's the point where you can start to refine 4-star uncommon. That's going to unlock a lot of research for you, and that's going to also let you start preparing for ship upgrades and things like that. Some of your transitional ships as well, your Talios, your Defiant, Voyager now, maybe even the Titan, will all start, they all have ops locks on them. The Fuchsia, they all have ops locks on them. They either need 40 or 41 to get to that next little section of levels where you can start progressing and moving up further. So let's just do a quick recap here. So this account was created free to play, 100%, April of 2022. So here we are, the first week of August. 16 months later, you can see over here I got the button pushed. It was about 135, 140 days for the upgrade. Got the helps rolling, knocked it down to about 103 is where we're at right now. As far as factions go, we won't see much of a change in reputations and things like that from making this upgrade. This is the point in time as you're starting to progress where you do want to start moving your next faction up. You should have all 3 locked at that 10 million first lock, and now you should be in a position where you want to start, as you're preparing to go from 38 to 39, pick 2 and start moving your way up, dual grinding. I went with Fed and Romulan. We're going to make our way up there in order to get to, if you want a G4 uncommon ship, you're going to have to move up a couple notches. I think you have to be up to about 140 million by Ops 42 to start getting the blueprints for this, whatever ship you would decide to choose from. The Valador is the most popular of the 42 ships, simply because thanks to the Jellyfish Brawl events, there's better sourcing for 4-star Explorer ship parts and uncommon gas, assuming you have a Jellyfish, which is still another bit of a hurdle, but we covered that in the last video that we did the other day. Augment rep's not going to do anything. That's not going to make any changes here. Bajoran faction is going to change significantly when you move to 40. One of the biggest holdups with the Bajoran faction is this uncommon loot box. It is the only one you have the choice to choose from, and you'll notice that nowhere in this box does it source for you rare Armada directives. Once you hit Ops 40, this box changes, and now you can start sourcing those rare directives, so you can start moving up, start doing those rare solo Armadas. That's also going to unlock 2 additional loot boxes in here for you. You're going to get a rare box, and you're going to get an epic box as well. Your elite loot box currently costing 90. Again, just having some very basic solo uncommon Armada directives. That's going to change a little bit. And you're going to start having some other options in here. Also, right now, we're currently only getting 3-star ship parts. That should change as well. If we go look at our resource tab, currently if you buy the $99 a month Elite Pack at $39, this is what I'm getting on my server. All G3 material so far, and pretty small amounts on the daily basis. A little bit of speed ups and things like that. A little bit of 2-star floating in here in the bottom. This is going to change when I move up to 40. This should start giving me 4-star materials. Looking at our alliance bundles, these Armada chests don't change anymore. These are locked. But you're going to get 3 new options when you move into, that G4 territory. There are 3 new Armada boxes. They are not very good. We'll take a look at them when we get there. But the uncommon and the rare one are really things I don't recommend pulling. The epic one, I'd hold off on a little bit. Wait till you get to, like 43, 44, and then start pulling it. Basically, once the rare 46 ship blueprints start showing up is when you want to start pulling that chest. But again, we'll look at that in a little bit. Consumables, away teams, none of this stuff should change. Just for hoo-has, we'll look at our multi-phasics. And for those of you wondering, how can a free-to-play account have multi-phasic credits? It's because of the new recruit bundle. This weekly key drop that you get for free, you do this once a week, you get the little key, you come over here, you do the mission recruit. These are also the guys you can do daily on like the web store. Well, there's the in-game weekly one now gives you 5 multi-phasic credits. So if you're wondering how I have multi-phasic credits, it's because they're now sourcing them very slowly, free to play. Basically, it's going to give you enough for 1 pack per year. If you get 5 a week, actually not even that. 5 a week, you need 500 to open a pack, so it's 100 weeks. So it's 1 pack every 2 years. So not exactly, cruising along on that free-to-play path. But there are some items in the store that we've seen where if Alliance members purchase them, you might also get 5 multi-phasics as your gift. All right, I think that was about all I wanted to preview. Oh, wait, let's go to the refinery. So our 4-star material box is at 39. So far, just giving uncommon. This is likely not going to change until 41, if I remember correctly. It's why people don't recommend camping and staying at 40. You camp at 39, you get to 40, you kind of move through 40 as quickly as you can to get to 41, because at 41 is where you start getting uncommons out of the refinery. None of this stuff should change. 4-star ship parts, again, you're also still just getting commons. That should change at 41. Your territory bundles, these should increase a little bit based on your ops level in terms of what you're pulling there. So these are going to reset. None of this stuff will. The resource bundles in here should. Looking at the biotics right now, I'm getting 41 million par steel. I pulled these this morning already, so I can't show you what I'm getting here, but it's not much. It's only, I think maybe it's like 5 or 6 million titanium plus tokens, and then I think it's 1.5 million dilithium, currently at 39. These won't change anymore because they're done. They'll continue to go if you do the Xborg research to increase this bonus. None of this stuff should change. Latinum won't change. Mantis, Forbidden Tech. None of this stuff should change because it's all dependent on levels of other buildings. This one should change, though. Converting protomatter to Q's trial building components. This should change as you move operations levels. Before we hit the button, I want to talk about how you move up operations levels. If you're on a newer server, a brand new server, you will typically be ops locked at 39. The whole server will be capped at 39. Nothing you can do about it. Depending on how fast people accelerate their growth and get to 39 and how many people are in their mid to high 30s, determines when Scopely raises the barrier and moves that up. Also, if you have a lot of high spender whales, or at least a few of them who make enough complaints, like, hey, I want to keep going, why am I stuck at 39? They may open that cap sooner because, obviously they want people to continue spending money. But it's usually in the 6 to 12 month range. What'll happen is they'll probably maybe make an announcement, maybe not. But what will start happening is every Friday you will see an event called Ascension. This event pays out 400 Ascension keys. You only need to complete it once. It will happen every Friday on your server until you actually upgrade your ops level. So even if you complete it and get the 400 keys, but you don't upgrade ops levels because you're not ready to go yet, next Friday the event will show up for you again. I think on my main account I have about 4,000 of these keys because, I sat tight for 2 or 3 months stocking up on resources to make that jump. All you have to do to complete this event, defeat an epic Armada target using one of these ships. So you are going to need a G3 epic, Enterprise D4 Augur, or an ISS Jellyfish, which you can get at 39. That's all you have to do. You don't have to start the Armada, you just have to be in it and win. You get your 100 points, you get your 400 keys, that's it, you're done. Easy peasy. I think we're about ready now. So let's go ahead and hit this button and let's do the upgrading. It's going to cost me a nice little chunk of latinum here. Sorry, I'm just mentally debating in my head if I want to pull that resource chest first and then have it reset when I upgrade ops levels and pull it again. No, I think I just want an extra pull. I have enough days left. I think I just want the extra pull of the level 40 box. So we're going to go ahead and move this up. One more day there. Let's take a couple of these. Do-do-do. Moving on up. Moving on up. We did it! Pick up a couple extra speed ups as well as 1-day peace shields, which always come in handy. Okay, now let's go look at what's changed. Start with the refinery. These bundles didn't really change at all. Still just uncommons in here. Nothing changed here because these are kind of locked in. Same thing with these bundles. Again, still just giving you common parts. Nothing changed there. Territory did not reset. So these are still the same as they were at 39. Amalgam support tab here. Oh, because I upgraded my Titan, I can now, because I tiered up to Ops 40, I now have a Titan refinery because that ship was Ops locked at my current tier. So I can move that up. We go to the resources. These did not change either. Okay, so no upgrades here. These are still exactly the same numbers. These may move up on the odd numbers then. Borg Tech. There's my transwarp coil, so I can upgrade my Talios and take it to the next level and tier that up to tier 4. I also have rare and epic solo exchange boxes. I did forget to point this out. Much like the Bajoran faction store, the Borg refinery also. Now, previously, the uncommon refinery for Borg was still sourcing rare directives, unlike the Bajoran one. The Borg one still does. And if you were able to cash in any of those and use any of them in maybe in some of those solo milestone or Armada events that we had so many of recently, you would now have the ability to finally open this box. This is where you're going to start to source your epic Armada directives as well. You also get some more fleet commander stuff, and you now have access to Rhydinium particles, which you'll also get through a daily mission, as well as some different officers, including Galinar. This is the primary sourcing for Galinar, is through this rare Armada chests. Your Borg mining officers you'll also have access to through here. Once you can start doing some epics, you're also going to have access to this loot box here, which in addition to giving you all those officers we just saw, also now includes 5 of 11 and Hugh being the two primary differences. I mean, they also throw in 10 of 11 and 6 of 11 as well, but they're both sourceable other ways. 6 of 11's in transporter patterns, 10 of 11 might be in there too. And Hugh being the big one here. Now, I have a terrible drop rate with Hugh, so I pull this on my main account, every 4 days I think I can do it. I get about 1 Hugh shard a month. I have terrible luck getting Hugh out of these epic boxes. Maybe your luck is better and you pull them all the time and you're like, my Hugh is already like tier 4. I don't know what you're talking about. Congratulations. That's awesome. You are luckier than I am. But hey, we're here right now. You'll notice the conversion rate's 14. This is a 3x cost for a 2 chest. And this one is pretty significant. This is, I think you're paying like 60,000 plus another. No, it's actually more than that. Is that 7? Yeah, that's 7 times for a 3 chest pull. We're going to do a 2 chest pull. I want to start sourcing these a little quicker. And we have an officer recruit event going on, so picked up a nice little chunk of rare officers, 2 of 11 being a good one to pick up. Also got a few 3 of 11 shards here. Can't complain about that. There are also these exo comps, but they are only for the Vidar, not the Talios. So they're not overly great, but they can be helpful. By now, your Talios is going to be your primary ship for board grinding. You're not really going to use the Vidar much anymore. But if you're behind on your Talios upgrading, well, these Vidar exocomps could help a little bit, I guess. Excuse me. Latinum did not change. Mantis. You can now tier up your Mantis. Again, another ops lock ship I forgot to mention earlier. There's so many of them. So that can now go up a level. And you'll find all these components to upgrade things in their respective refineries. Voyager probably also has an ops lock, but I'm only at tier 2. So not quite ready to move up there yet. And my Forbidden Tech here, this increased slightly. Still only sourcing 100 of these things per building, per refinery, but now this went from like 1650 to 1700. These are the things that I hate that they do. If you're going to make it cost more, give me more materials. Occasionally you will find these things where as you upgrade ops levels or as you gain reputation levels, things just start costing more, but they still pay you out the same amount of currency. This is wrong. This is a mistake. It's not a mistake, it's intentional, but this is wrong. This should not be the way that this works. If you're going to charge me more, give me more. Otherwise, what's my incentive to move up? It's like you're punishing me for upgrading. Let's go look at our factions. Nothing would have changed in any of these. Nothing would have changed in Augment. Nothing would have changed in the Rogue store because these are all dependent on your individual reputations. The Bajoran store, again, because I upgraded, now here's where I claim my Defiant tier 4 component. So now I can finish that and move up. None of this stuff reset. But here we go now. That uncommon loot box now has 175 rare Armada directives available in it. You need 200 to run one, so you're not running one the first time you pulled this box, unless you do a double chest pull. Or you've sourced directives other ways, through events or rewards or battle passes or things like that. Also notice that this reward box is now paying 4-star common and uncommon ship parts. So you now have another way to source these before you get to 41 to start acquiring some stuff if you want to keep upgrading that jellyfish, or, you know, now that you can move up Defiant and Talios and things like that, they are going to start to require uncommon parts. So this is another way for you to start to get some of those. But now you have these rare loot boxes as well. This is going to start to give you some more officer sourcing for Kira and Miles. This is where you will get your epic solo directives. Again, you need 500 for the epic, so 2 chests will do that for you. The Borg store, you'll notice, paid out 200. Still need 500 for the Armada, which means you have to do 3 chests the first time in order to be able to run one of those, or you have to do 3 chest pulls. And again, chances of getting both uncommon and rare ship parts out of this bundle to start acquiring these for when you get your ships up to those higher tier levels to already have some resources waiting. The epic bundle here, transporter patterns are given away, larger amounts of credits and diplomacy tokens so you can get those Bajoran favors done faster, and additional sourcing for Benjamin Sisko. This has common, uncommon, and rare ship parts in it. No I button to tell you what your chances are of getting anything. Your elite box also changes. As we mentioned, there are now rare and epic Armada directives available in here, as well as moving up to 4-star ship parts. But you'll notice the cost also went from 90 to 540. It's a very steep cost upgrade. Thought process being is that now you should be able to kill bigger targets, especially now that you can move your Defiant up another tier. And you'll start sourcing those Bajoran favors to get those done faster. We did factions. We did the refinery. What else? What else we got? We got our loot box. Let's go look at that. Oh, station event too. Nothing would have changed in the event store, although some of these rewards might have changed. Yeah. Okay, so your Apex store. These rewards have now changed as well. You can now source 4-star uncommon materials through here at 40. That's a nice little bonus. So if you take a little longer to move to 41, you do have random other little ways to start sourcing 4-star materials through this, through the other, faction refineries and things like that. So you can start making a little bit of progress, even if you can't move all the way through 40 to get to 41 right away. It's also another reason why people have recommended that you do not spend nearly as much time camping as you once did at 39, and you kind of just continue to keep making steady progress. Pardon me. These little bundles also changed. This is just for the current event store. I've already used all my materials for this because I wasn't planning on upgrading before the end of the event, but since we do have a new ARC launching tomorrow, that's another thing. The Battle Pass should be better at 40 than it was at 39. I should have 4-star materials in my Battle Pass when it launches for this month, which will be tomorrow. Once the event starts and the Battle Pass is released, it does not change. Remember that. So you have to move up previously, and since they tend to roll out battle passes a little early sometimes or push updates sooner than they mean to, I highly recommend, if you are going to do it at least the day before. Do it at least do it Sunday afternoon, do it Monday, so that way by Tuesday when the new event launches, you're already upgraded and ready to go. None of this stuff should have changed in there, but let's go look at our chests. Faction intelligence keys. Okay, this is something new. Faction intelligence keys. You will start to get a new daily. Oh, this also reset. I'm getting more rations now. That changed. I went from, I think, 2,000 to 2,500 now that I've moved to 40. This is for the mess hall, so that's a change there. those faction allegiance keys. You will have a new daily mission, which it probably won't show until tomorrow, but we'll go take a look just in case it's here, called Faction Allegiance. It will require you to kill a specific number of Fed, Klingon, or Romulan targets of a specific level, much like your regular ones. However, this one cannot be completed using the freebooter method. You have to actually go kill Federation, Klingon, or Romulan hostiles to complete it. For doing so, you will get a faction allegiance token, which we just got there. They just gave us 7 of them. You will get one of those, which means you can do one of these bundles once a week. Do your daily every day, 7 days, get 7 of these things. You need 7 to cash it in. The other thing that the Faction Allegiance daily mission will give you are those Redinium particles we were talking about earlier with the Borg store. Those are used for a whole new area of research. But these particular bundles here give you Redinium particles as well as faction credits. So it's an extra little boost of both Redinium for your research and the faction credits to help you get closer to whatever ship you're planning on unlocking next. If I were to unlock a G4 uncommon ship, it would most likely be the Valdor. So therefore I'm going to go ahead and claim my Romulan bundle now to start getting extra faction credits towards that. I mentioned research. Let's go look at that real fast. In the galaxy tree, you have this whole new wing. Once you scroll over far enough, out here, requires you to upgrade the R&D first. You can see it's going to boost, you've got things that boost your survey, boost your 4-star mining speed. Lots of stuff here, lots of boosts here for these. You'll notice that they all have this little insignia in the top left corner, indicating they need Redinium particles. These are some of your Redinium researches that you can get. I think there are more in the other trees, but it may just be the galaxy tree. Yeah, I think it is just the galaxy tree. Okay. Now you'll notice here to advance, I need my shipyard at 40. I need my Parsteel vault at 40. The Parsteel vault is going to require, typically it's A and B of the generators as well as the warehouse to be upgraded. The shipyard requires R&D. R&D requires the academy. So we'll get the academy. Now you can see the costs have gone up significantly for upgrading your buildings as well. And you're also now using these 4-star commons. You can replace these with Latinum. The conversion rate is 4-to-1 for Latinum per common resource. Can get pricey. But you're also looking at these larger numbers now, much larger numbers in terms of building costs. As now we are talking about billions of resources needed instead of previously where it was just millions. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pop an exocomp though, because we're going to try and upgrade as much as we can and get some of this stuff done. And we want to cut down our build time as much as possible. While we're waiting to get some helps on that, we'll keep taking a look through. None of this stuff should have changed with recruiting. Resource bundles, yes, this should have changed. Now my elite reward pack here, you can see I went from 5,500 Latinum up to 9,000 Latinum. Now I'm getting 800 million Parsteel. That is a huge upgrade from previously. And I am now getting also 4-star materials in here instead of just the small amount of 3-star materials that I was previously getting. Speed ups have also increased. There's a 10-day speed up in there now as well. And the 2-star and 3-star commons and things and uncommons are still available as well. So by claiming this, getting myself a nice big chunk of resources that's going to help me keep moving along. None of this stuff should have changed. Alliance bundles. These are those additional Armada chests I was talking about. So these guys didn't change because they're locked out at 39. But now we get to these new Armada chests. They cost a lot more. And what they give you is really not worth the effort. The 3-star Armada box, I spend $25,000 for a 2 chest pull, and I get between 10 and 20 rare directives per day by pulling that way. This is $150,000. It's got some small amounts of ship parts in it, very small amounts. There are common parts in here, which you will frequently get, making it not at all worth it. There are little bits of 4-star rare resources, which is what makes it more tempting, because you're hoping to get some of these. Maybe you get some of those primes and stuff done for free. Not going to fault you if you try and make a pull at that to try and get some of these, to try and get some of those unlocked. But in terms of directive sourcing, these are the numbers you have a chance of pulling, and I will tell you, my own personal experience, it is very likely and very often one Armada directive. What the heck are you doing with one directive? Nothing. You're waiting 199 more times, hoping that you get something better. We're here for science. I'll go ahead and pull it. Maybe we get lucky, but typically this is not what I would normally recommend doing. Oh, I got 3 this time. Well, isn't that nice? I also got some common materials, so no uncommon or rare materials to help with my upgrading. I got some rare ship parts, though, and there's only common tactical cores in there. You'll hear people talk a lot about rare Armada cores. It is something that you need to move your ACC up in the 40s. Is this new component right here, rare Armada tactical cores. And the only way to source those is through the rare and epic boxes. But you don't need to do that yet. And I'm going to show you why in just a minute. 100,000 for a single chest pull is incredibly expensive. But you're like, but there's Lorca shards and there's 5 of 11 shards. There's also 10 of 11 shards and Curon shards floating through here. And there are some very small quantities available. Most likely what you're going to get is 1, and most likely it's going to be 1 Curon shard. So the likelihood of getting any of these epic officer shards is very low. 20 rare Armada tactical cores is also a very low amount as well. If we go check our building upgrades real quick. For our Armada Control Center, to take it to 40 requires 400 rare tactical cores. That's a lot. That's what? You're getting 20 a pull. That's 20 rare Armada chests at this price point. You're spending 2 million rare credits to get enough tactical cores to move your Armada Control Center from 40 to 41. Which does what for you again? Oh yeah, it increases your damage by 2%. That's it. Doesn't change your Armada size going from 39 to 40. Doesn't change your solo Armada size. None of that changes. In fact, this doesn't change until you get to 50. So there is no rush at all unless you're going to just whale your way through, in which case then you're probably better off just buying, an Armada Control, a rare tactical core pack, or 2 or 4, to be able to upgrade this building. It has to get to level 45 by the time you want to move to 50. You'll have plenty of time moving through the 40s to worry about getting those rare cores later for that. And hopefully maybe they'll do something to improve sourcing of that somewhere down the road. But as you're moving through, 650, 1300, 1950, 2600, 6500. These are very large numbers that you need of these rare cores, and the sourcing from them is not really all that good in the beginning. Well, it's not really good at all, but it's even worse in the beginning, as you saw. You're getting 20 per chest pull. Don't do this. Don't do this pack. Wait. Wait until you're like 44. This pack's not going to change too much, but the amount of, the cost will go up a bit, but the amount of cores you get will also increase. This will start giving you like 300 or 400, so there's get some much better numbers to work with. The Epic pack as well is the other way to source the rare cores. Currently, it only has jellyfish blueprints, which hopefully you've already gotten and you won't need. But if you do still need them and you're trying to get this done, okay, maybe pull one or two of these in the beginning to help you get your jellyfish complete so you can start getting that extra event. And then it has the 41 faction miners. These things take a lot of resources, and they've got better warp range, but they're not really all that great for upgrading, and you'll see a lot of players will kind of skip these or work on them much later down the road when they're in their mid to late 40s. They'll work on one or two just for the warp range. I don't recommend pulling this chest, as I said, until you get into your mid 40s and these ship blueprints change. When the jellyfish drops out and suddenly I think these go away as well, and you start getting options for the rare 46 ships. You'll start seeing Pylum and Coronar blueprints and stuff in here. That's when I recommend start pulling these. Save your epic credits, or do your other 3-star chest just to get the resources and stuff out of it. These amounts will also increase significantly. You are guaranteed to get one of these 3 amounts. It just says chance here because it doesn't know which of the 3 you're going to get, whereas the rare chest said you're guaranteed 20 because that's the only option. You have to get it 20 every time you open a chest pull. This one here, the minimum you can get is 50. You could get 100. This will scale up. I think mine are like 400 to 500 at the end of the 40s. When this chest locks out, it's 400, 450, and 500. So you can get larger numbers to help, again, upgrade that ACC much later on in the process. If you have an abundance of directives, or you're able to get into groups and you keep getting large quantities of these and you want to pull them, that's entirely up to you. But again, my recommendation is hang tight until you are into your mid 40s, and then when these ships change out and you can actually start getting some stuff that you're going to find a lot more helpful, then start opening these boxes here. Territory bundles, nothing should have changed here. Consumables, no. Away teams, no. Multiphasics, we can look at a station pack now. As you can see, you're paying out much higher quantities of resources now that you've moved up into G4 territory. Artifacts, this box also changed. Okay, I didn't look at that or consider that. You're probably getting a little bit more of these building upgrades. But the epics are still not available for you here. They probably added another rare or two to your bundle options for doing your artifact pulls. And I think this went from 60 to 70. And I think that's it as far as big upgrades go. Oh, the other thing, the Treasury. When your Treasury goes to level 40, you know what, let's just go ahead and do this. Hang on. Let's just do these speed ups. Screw it. Let's just do that. When your Treasury moves up to level 40, you can now, in addition to sourcing through the daily the Treasury components that you need to do the upgrade, you will also start getting an additional material which can be used for a couple of different primes. I believe it's the territory primes. You will get 8 of these prime particles every day when you do your daily chest refinery. Once your Treasury is upgraded to level 40, when you do your daily box pull, in addition to getting your diodes to continue upgrading your Treasury building, you will get 8 of these things. Since you need 1,000 to do these, it means it's going to take you 125 days, just slightly over 4 months. Which means if you go the whole year, you'll be able to do all 3 of the primes that are available in this tree. I recommend starting with the protected cargo one. If you are, a more PvE based player, it's a 100% boost to protected cargo. It's pretty good. This is a 150% damage boost against player ships. Most people will probably go for this one first for the PvP aspect of it. No harm there either. If that's more your playstyle, go for that one. Third one over here is just for territory capture. This is probably the last one people do. Increases your base damage while occupying a capture node. So if you're in a territory takeover, and not if you're on a mining node, you have to be on one of the actual capture nodes in territory. This will give you a damage boost there. Some people are trying to contest your territory and kill you. You'll have an additional damage bonus on top of the PvP one you've probably already unlocked over here. Like I said, they take 125 days, so you'll probably forget about it for a while until, you happen to be scrolling through here and you'll see the little green arrow and you're like, oh, wait, I can upgrade that? Yes. Yes, you can, and that's why. Come on, guys, push them help buttons. I need to get these timers down. All right, what else did I forget? What did I forget? I don't know. If I forgot anything, I'm sure you guys will point it out. Leave it in the comments. If you have questions about things maybe I did or didn't cover, leave it in the comments. Here's something else I just thought of. Command Center. If your command center is upgraded to level 40, you also get the additional benefit of having the second fleet commander active. Requires you to have 2 fleet commanders to do it, and plus get the building all the way to 40, which you can't do until you're Ops 40. But you do then have the option to have a second fleet commander active, if you have a second fleet commander. Free-to-play sourcing, where am I on Spock? 2/3 of the way there, and fleet commanders have been out for a pretty long time. I want to say 7 or 8 months now. I think they came out the beginning of 2023. So, through that daily box opening, I am still only 2/3 of the way to getting the second fleet commander for free. Maybe you guys have better luck and you're closer than that. But until you get a second fleet commander unlocked, there's not really a huge need to rush through this building to get it there. Obviously, you want to keep moving it upwards, keep moving your fleet commander upwards. Some people like to sit there and hold fleet commander resources because, they're waiting for the next event to do it. From my recollection, the only time they really do events now for fleet commanders is when they release a new one. So, like, we had the event, it launched, we had, the feature launched, we had events for a month or 2 afterwards, they kind of stopped doing them. Then they released 7 of 9 in, May? And we had events again for another month, that month and the following month. And then we haven't seen them since. So we will likely not have more events until they release another fleet commander. Maybe that'll be coming soon. People have been guessing like, hey, if Lower Decks is coming back at the end of the year, or next, before the end of the year, right, as our future arc, maybe there'll be a fleet commander in here. Maybe there'll be a Riker fleet commander in here or something like that, right? A Captain Riker that they'll make a fleet commander. It's just a theory, just a guess. Seems like a good one, though. In which case, then, maybe we'll have more events. As far as fleet commanders go, I always just say, if you, don't spend the resources until you need to. But if you get to a point where, you have the materials and you can make some upgrades, these things are good to upgrade. You get some pretty big bonuses here. As far as unlocking new abilities, this doesn't happen until you get the building up to 40, which again takes a little while to do so. Command center to 40. Some of these are locked out. Command center to 35. To upgrade some of these, 45 to lock that out. So if I got my command center to 35, I could upgrade a whole bunch of skills in this middle tier here. I'm currently sitting at 30. I could take it up, 2 or 3 levels. So since nothing changes for me until I get to 35 next, doing 31, 32, 33 right now isn't really helping me at all. So I'll just sit on the materials until I have enough to go all the way to 35. If an event happens to come before then, I'll upgrade sooner. If an event doesn't happen by the time I'm ready to go to 35, I'll just go. I'll just make the move and go for it. Yeah, not seeing anything else really going on in here. So let's just see what we can crank through here. We got the Treasury. Let's upgrade R&D. R&D to 40 is going to give me a whole bunch of new building upgrade options, or research options rather. See if we can't inspire the team to do some faster upgrading here for me. One of the other things I can show off real quick while we're looking at that, I talked about those ships being locked. So like the Talios right here, we can upgrade that. There's the last component there. It does require a lot of titanium. But let's go ahead and spend some tokens and do that. Now we can move it up from tier 3 to tier 4. Every time you change the tier of some of these specialty ships, it will reset your refinery as well, so keep that in mind. Make sure you got enough materials to make another pull, because you're going to have the option to do it again. So now we've upgraded our Talios. We can now upgrade additional components. We can get 5 more ship levels out of it. That'll boost this. You'll have more ability to kill Borgs. Now we're talking about 4-star common materials being used, as well as large amounts of titanium compared to what we're previously used to. You see some of these costs here. This is like 1 billion titanium just for these 4 components. And there's 4 more on the other side. So it's going to cost you, again, try and work on some efficiencies and things to lower your titanium costs. Your mess hall helps with that. We look at the Defiant. This is the ops lock piece that I just got there. I'm a little short on the regular Defiant material, so I can't upgrade to that yet. The Titan was another one that was ops locked. That one I'm way off because I've just recently acquired it, so I don't have the parts to do that yet. This one's going to take a while to get to. The Mantis, I think, was also ops locked for me. Maybe not. Yes. So the cargo bay had a component that was locked out for me, so it wouldn't let me go any further than tier 6. So now I could, if I had the other materials, I could also upgrade the Mantis. Just be careful with your Mantis, because again, as you tier it up, your costs go up pretty significantly. That was the Titan. The Franklin also, I think, has an ops locked component, but that doesn't go until 41, right? Yeah, that's 41. That's probably when your resource bundles will change, because the Franklin and your swarm dailies and things like that change typically on odd numbered levels. So that's likely what we'll see happen with those. I don't think there's any other items. I don't think the Meridian has anything ops locked. It does start to require 4-star on commons, which is a little bit of a roadblock for a lot of people in terms of just sourcing those. Other change at 40. Forgot to mention this one. If your discovery is tier 9, and you are ops level 40, your faction bundle, your resource bundle in the refinery does change. So in addition to what's in here for you to pull, these regular materials, the spores and the speed ups and things like that, you get an additional guaranteed speed up. Every chest has 4 one-day speed ups in it, which means when you do your 6 chest pull, you're getting 24 days worth of speed ups, which means every week from doing your event, you will get 96 days worth of speed ups. For doing your discovery anomalous phenomena event on Sundays, throughout the course of the week, you will now be getting 96 one-day speed ups. But you have to have your discovery to tier 9 for that to kick in. It's a hidden little bonus. I definitely want to make sure I point that one out, because that's a big one in my opinion. That's a big one that's really going to help you move up, especially if you are free to play. I don't know how much Latinum we're going to have, how far we can get, but we're going to try. I'm going to keep pausing it so you guys don't have to sit here and watch the building upgrades while I'm waiting for the helps to kick in. That's 30,000 Latinum right there too. Oof. Well, let's go do our refinery. See what we can do there. There's a 3 chest pull. That might help a little bit. That got me 490. Okay. I still need a lot. It didn't really change things too much for me. That would be the shipyard. Yeah, we just may not be able to get all the way there. I just may not have enough Latinum and speed up saved up. The other thing I need is what? The vault. Alright, so while I'm waiting for helps, I also want to mention that now you see here you get this bonus prime particles with the optical diodes. I can demonstrate and show you what you're looking at now. So in addition to getting your diodes, there's the prime particles that you're also getting for doing that upgrade. Of course, I tiered up my Talios, so my Talios refinery reset and changed now that it's at tier 4. Let's do this vault now. And to get that vault up to 40, I need the power steel generator B. Generator B requires generator A. Does not require the warehouse. So that's good to know. We can skip the warehouse. That'll save us a little bit of materials and time and speed ups and things. All of this information is available also on stfc.space or by using the resource or upgrade calculators or the cost calculator on Spock's Club, Spock's.club website. For those of you unfamiliar with said website, Spock's.club. you have a requirements. So if I wanted to go to operations, starting level, I'm at 40. Target level 41. There's my prerequisites. Shipyard, par steel vault. What do I need for the shipyard? R&D. Oh, plus an Armada control center of at least level 20. I got that. I can look further. R&D requires the academy. We're all good there. Par steel vault requires the vault at 39. Generator B. Generator B requires generator A. So nope, don't have to do the warehouse. Fun thing about this requirement calculator is you can also fill in your research. We've talked about this website before. It's very handy. Certainly something I would have loved to have seen Scopely integrate into their website, because then you could link your Scopely ID directly to it, and it would pre-fill all this information in for you. But alas, I think that's just a pipe dream for now. We'll focus on getting one website working at a time. But yes, you can just fill in your different efficiencies, and then up here at the top, it tells you what the base cost is, and then based on your research and things like that, it will tell you what your actual cost is to making these upgrades. If you have some of this stuff done, you just check off the box, and then it changes your costs. Like I already have the shipyard done. Or if I already did, this par steel generator, now I don't have to spend as much in terms of, materials and things like that, getting other stuff done. So, Spox.club is this other particular website. Enter in addition to stfc.space. 1, 2, 3, 4. Guess your woman on the floor? What? Oh. Respect, Coolio. Alright, now we can move on to B. Again, using a big chunk of 4-star commons, but not as bad as some of the other buildings. Gonna go have to find some rating targets. Replace all this titanium we're using. Alright, let's keep on seeing what else we can do. So we can do, this is the vault next, which is one of the other few buildings that are left. So we just need to get to here with that. We got the R&D, so it's just the shipyard after this, which is the one that requires all the crystal. 30,000 in Latin to convert that, plus this. I mean, we're gonna do it. Might as well just do it. Get it ready. We'll get this helps down a few more minutes here. So again, it was just the 2 generators here, and this particular vault to 40 is all you need to do to move up to 41. Going forward after that, trying to go from 41 to 42, I'm pretty sure you need all of these generators, but I guess we can check that out real quick too, right? Spox.club, requirements, operations, going from 41 to 42. Requires your dilithium vault to be level 41. And the dilithium vault's going to require the vault and the generators, which the generator requires that generator there. Okay. Typically, they also require the previous one. So like upgrading your dilithium vault requires usually requires your dilithium warehouse to be upgraded, and one of those requires the titanium ones to be upgraded. So usually it's like a systemic thing where you kind of have to upgrade all of them. You can also see here requires your defense platforms to be upgraded. Defense platform D has to also be upgraded. Your defense platforms require your dry dock to be upgraded. Those are all linear. So dry dock D requires C, C requires B, etc. as you move back through these. It's going to require your other dry docks and defense platforms to be upgraded. So the exterior of your base is going to have to come along and come up quite a bit there as well. The other thing is eventually what everybody wants to get to is the shipyard, going from 41 to 42. So you can build that G4 uncommon ship. This requires operations, as we talked about there. It's also going to require the R&D. R&D requires the academy. No surprises there. But here's your other surprise. It requires a particular 4-star resource called shield modulation, which, if I remember correctly, is in the combat tree. Yeah. So here's where you start getting things for your 4-star ships. To get the shipyard built, you need this one, this shield modulation one built. It's going to require you to have R&D of 41 plus the other ones previously to it. So you do have some additional research that you will have to focus on and get a couple of these done in order to be able to get this done to move up. This is a bit of a trend in the 40s. There are a couple of different checkpoints that will require you to do specific researches, and they get further and further out into some of these trees. So make sure you are checking your requirements to make sure that you are kept up to date on those as well. For those of you keeping score at home and are wondering how I just got more speed ups than I had before, I cashed in my dailies. Both your research daily and your building daily give you additional speed ups. So I cashed those in while we were waiting. All right, we got a bunch of helps from the Alliance finally. Knocked the cost of this down using our speed ups here. And this should be our final requirement. Now we can go look at it and see what we need to upgrade and just go right to 41. Shipyard's done. There are no new ships or anything like that. Like I said, you don't get your next ship until, well, you get the miners at 41, and then 42 is your attack ships, your battleships. All right, so this is another big chunk, 36,000. That's a lot of G4 commons. So again, another reason people kind of camp at 39 a little bit, start mining that 4-star material, start doing those refines and start building up those commons because you do need large quantities of them for your building upgrades. All total, I think I spent about 20 billion. I think I was right around 98, 99 billion when we started this exercise. So I think I spent about 20 billion in par steel in order to get here. Par steel is not as hard to acquire as it once was. They really do pay out larger quantities of it in events now. So you can certainly pick up nice big chunks of that as you go. Obviously having speed ups to move some of this stuff along, using exocomps. Definitely want to make sure you're doing that before you start doing a bunch of upgrades. We used the 70% build speed one for 2 hours because I knew I was doing multiple buildings here. And now we're just going to wait, get some helps, and chip this time down from over 100 days and see how much smaller we can get it. Lastly, while we're waiting for those helps to move from up to 41 operations level, I also want to talk about the PvP ranges because that's something else to keep in mind as you're moving up here. So when you were 39, your PvP range went all the way to 60, which is the current maximum cap. So this isn't really currently going to change anything new for you, but as we've talked about for months previously. If that G6 level cap is going to be raised, because, that new expansion is looming. We don't know when. A lot of people are speculating it'll happen in September or whatnot. Star Trek Day is September 8th, right? So maybe that they launched a new arc. Here's the new G6 content. Maybe. Who knows? Could be. But that would only be about a month away. When you move up into the 40s, now your level cap goes over 60. It goes all the way up to 61 and then 63. And, when you get to 42 and build that ship, you're at 64, which is probably where, a good number, your baby whales will probably, if the level cap is raised from 60, they'll have enough material stockpiled, probably. They'll move through these first couple levels pretty quickly, and they'll start working on one of those, G6 uncommon ships, which would presumably be around level 63 if it follows the same pattern as G5 did. Could go to 64 depending on how they want to space things out. The whaliest of whales will push even further and get, 66 or 67, which, as you can see, as long as you're below 40, 43 or 44, you're out of their targeting range, except in territory, of course. But this is also something else to sort of keep in mind. Again, at 39, all the way to 60 can hit you. So, moving up into the 40s currently has no setbacks or detriment to you to do so, because this is the top level player and they can already hit you. But when this changes, sometime soon, maybe, yes, just keep an eye on these new level caps here and where things are going to go from that. All right, so we got this to 12 helps. There's a lot more people here in this territory capture. I don't know why everybody's not hitting the help button, but let's go ahead and do this. Spend another big chunk of the old latinums. And we'll move right up to 41, and then we'll run through one last little loop here. And see everything that changed. So there's my Franklin part. I finished that. Also moved up operations, so now it's going to give me some resources. There's some uncommons that I got. Yes. Now there's new missions, your new mission paths. There's the Franklin A again. Not really losing sleep over upgrading that ship. Shouldn't be anything new in here. This may change overnight with the dailies. Some more speed ups, a little more latinum. Thank you for that. All right. Again, this is going to require all of those things to upgrade, but we got to start at the beginning. The Academy. Now you look at that, that's requiring a big chunk of 4-star uncommon ores. That's going to take a little while to upgrade. In the meantime, I can circle back and work on some of this stuff because I know I'm going to need like the dilithium vault. So it's like, well, I could start working on that now or wait for the next auction event to start spending those materials. Guess I could do my treasury again. Why not? Get a little more mining speed, a little more protected cargo. Gotta upgrade something. Alright, so what else changed here now? Let's go through our factions real quick. None of this stuff would have changed. The Bajoran store, I don't believe... Hey, my game crashed. Alright, now that my game crashed and I reloaded. It's the third time it's happened, by the way. You guys just haven't seen the other two because it was during the time I was paused waiting for helps. Did our loot boxes here change? I don't think so. These all look pretty similar. I don't think anything there would have changed. My refinery definitely did change. I can see that these have reset. Now you can look at my 4-star refineries. Now the costs went up a little bit, but now I'm also being able to start sourcing uncommons. So now I got to get my mining game up. This is why people also recommend stockpiling a big chunk of this stuff before you make this move. Unfortunately, my alliance is always at war with somebody, so that was not really in the cards for me. I can take this one and get the ore, though. We have ore in territory, so it's easy to just sneak out and grab a little bit. Ship parts. Ship parts have upgraded. Now I can get uncommons. Now I can get uncommon survey parts. So now I can start upgrading the Meridian and maybe the Amalgam too. I think it's just the Meridian who needs them. This refinery went up. Now I can start getting a little more ISO emulsion, larger numbers. I need larger numbers to do it, but I get additional refines or additional payouts. Slightly higher cost, slightly higher benefit. We can always use those, so let's take some reactors. Amalgam didn't change. This stuff's all based again on tiers of ships. This changed though. So before I was getting about 70 million, now it's up to 100. That one's not the one that's holding me back, it's this one. Now we're getting about 30 million between tokens. And this went from about 1.5 and 2 tokens to 3.5 and 5 tokens. So there's a nice little upgrade there. You'll notice these did not change at all because that has nothing to do with it. Latinum, now that I'm 41, I can get the new warp interlock for the Fuchsia. So now I can start tiering up my Fuchsia beyond where it currently is. And nothing new would have changed in any of these. Oh, wait. Why, Forbidden Tech changed again. Still 1,700 for one. So this didn't actually change. This changed, but the cost didn't change. Interesting. Very interesting. Not really, but in terms of building resources, nothing went and refreshed there. So it was just the refinery so far and the swarms. Those resources changed. Recruit bundles, nothing changed in here. My reward pack changed. Now went from 8,000 up to about 9,000. Went from 800 million to about 933 million. So this was a nice upgrade. And now I'm getting also more payouts in here. This should change every ops level in the 40s. The 40s, all of these things that are resource based, your battle pass, these types of chests and things like that for spenders or for comp chests, which is how I got these tokens because of lots of instability issues where they just gave out, I think, 15 days worth of comp chests, which I just saved them, knowing that I was going to be making this move. As you can see here, now we start to get the uncommons in here. We have replaced... Nope, we didn't replace anything. All we did was add. The cost went from 35,000 to 40,000. The payouts on these did not change at all, but we've added into the mix the 42 uncommon chips. If we look at our rare box, this one looks the same. Nothing should have changed in here. Away teams, now that I'm 41, if my reputation was higher, I would start seeing blueprints for the 42 ships in the away team store. Currently, I don't see them because my rep has to get higher, so that'll be something I'll be working on, grinding that out. Factions, refinery, and chests. I think that's about it. Since we talked about the Fuchsia also being a ship that was ops locked at tier 4, I can now do this final component here and move this up. Spending a lot of titanium today, but Have to make sure to upgrade the ship level, though. That's where the extra mining bonus and stuff from. You're getting a little bit of a boost to the cargo capacities and things by making the upgrade. Let's see, getting some nice little adjustments here. Going from 430 and 99 protected with just no crew. This is a combat crew. I'm just using it for the ship dock to tier it up. So just getting a very minor increase there. But when you use the right officers on it, you'll see a bigger increase. And making this upgrade should now reset my refinery. But since I don't have any actual latinum available, and now I can continue upgrading this. I can do the cargo bay if I want, get more space there. But as you can see, even though it's a very subtle change, because of the other research and things, this is going up pretty significantly. 450, 101, going up to 530 and 15. So going up almost 100,000 cargo capacity and about 15,000 protected before you put the right officers on it. The other thing too is with warp range. Going from warp 77 up to warp 88. It's a nice little increase there. That'll get you to another class of systems. This is actually the one I want to do first. I'm going to do this one in the cargo bay if I have enough. I think I have just enough. Nope, came up just short. We'll get that tomorrow. But I wanted to get the warp range done, so now I can reach a better class of system. Because at warp 77, you can get out to this ring of systems here. I mean, I'll just look at Voyager's got 160. So this ring of systems here requires warp 75 to get to. So you can just barely get to here. But if you move out a little bit further, nope, can't quite make it to those yet either. But if you add like Grush or somebody to your Fuchsia, now suddenly you can get here. And one of these two systems, I forget which one, is an additional latinum, concentrated latinum system is one of these two. In fact, let me just look it up on my main account real fast. Oh, it's actually this one, which requires warp 110 to get to. All right, so not quite there just yet. What else around here is concentrated latinum? This one is Ashtor is concentrated latinum. That requires warp 80, so that one I can certainly reach now. And since we have Latinum Rush about to start, I could head out that way and start acquiring that stuff. So I think that's going to wrap it up now. We've done the upgrading. I've shown you moving to 40 and then progressing all the way to 41. If I forgot anything, please feel free to point it out in the comments below and I'll try and answer your questions there. Or if you just have a question about something else that maybe I didn't cover related to these upgrades. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you learned a lot to help prepare yourself for what's going to come up next. Look forward to seeing you back next time or on one of my live Twitch streams. If I don't, see you around the galaxy first. Take it easy, everybody.